Hello and welcome to another draft video. Today I'm going to be running through another traditional draft with a little bit of a twist. I was in contact with a fellow YouTuber and dear friend of mine, Maximus, check out the channel here, where they noticed that I didn't actually end up drafting the color black in any of the videos I've posted so far. So, this is appropriate because he happens to be doing a Let's Play of Black Mesa, the Half-Life 1 remake right now. Go check that out on his channel. And I feel like I'm in the mood for a challenge. So today we're going to be forcing black. That means that I'm going to be in mono black or two colors with a splash at best. And my main color has to be black. I can't just play green blue and splash a obsessive stitcher and call that a day. That's not in the spirit. And it's certainly going to be a challenge because, as you notice here, I don't have very many gems left. So I'll need to get the full prize if I want to be continue to do these traditional draft videos without going back to the grind. So let's start up this draft and get in the queue and see how we do. Now, I think the places that I want to be is black white at the top, the life gain archetype. I think that has the most support, and I also think it's the most fun. Blue black reanimator is also a decent option. There's a bit less support, but at worst you end up with just a blue black control deck, and that's never bad. Uh, there's also green black, which is like the creatures die on your turns archetype. It's very strange. Like a little bit of sacrifice in there. It Green black is one of my favorite draft archetypes when in what I like to call strange draft formats. This mainly being master sets and cube, because green black just tends to be able to outvalue your opponent with good removal and good creatures. Just basic limited fundamentals can get you very far with green black deck. And lastly, there's red black, which has like a kind of a sacrifice theme going on, but there's very few good sack outlets in this set, so I don't think it really comes together that often. There's also, you could kind of try just going like a red black aggressive deck, but there's also not the most aggro cards in black in this set. The aggro is filtered into red and white. So this is a long queue. So the card that we're hoping the most to open in black for common, that's going to be Grasp of Darkness, of course. Fantastic removal spell, probably the second best common in this set, just after Scorching Dragonfire, just because this Grasp of Darkness is a bit more difficult to cast, and you can't splash it really. Uncommons, Eliminate is a decent uncommon. Silver Smoke Ghoul is a really cool card that I want to try playing in the white black life gain archetype because it returns to the battlefield from the graveyard if you can gain 3 life during your turn, and you can also sacrifice it to draw a card. So it's a very like tricky, cool card. Rares and mythics. Liliana is a very solid mythic. It can usually act as a removal spell, and if you can protect it, start gunning down your opponent's hand or making them lose life. But there's also Massacre Worm. That will be the sweetest thing to open. I love Massacre Worm so much. And that's just it. -2/-2 to all your opponent's creatures for the turn, and whenever their creatures die, they lose 2 life. So oftentimes you can like one-sided board wrath by either killing all their creatures outright or making them small enough that you can just attack in, and it's a game ender for sure. Uh, as far as just black rares go, I think that's maybe one of the reasons why I haven't drafted black is that the rares are a little bit underwhelming. Like Liliana's Standard Bearer, Necromentia. What else is there? Hooded Bloodfang, Karavik the Spiteful, Peer into the Abyss. Like Demonic Embrace and the Veto are really the best ones. Okay, so what do we got here? Unfortunately, we have two not Black cards I do not want to be first picking. Like, Fetid Imp is good, but not picking that. I'm very sad that I'm passing up on a Alpine Houndmaster. I almost want to renege on this challenge right this minute. Sanctum of Calm Waters is good in the Reanimator deck, and Garruk's Harbinger is just a big, beefy creature that can draw you cards, especially if you're able to remove their creatures. So yeah, well, I'm not starting off with a black card. I'm going to pick the Harbinger to hopefully go into green-black. Okay, and I'm sorry, I'm picking another green card here, but I'll go back on the black train. Don't you worry. Because there's a Lanamore Visionary in here, and that's going to be very, very useful. A lot of the best cards in green black are the big green creatures, and like Twin Blade Assassins, the black green uncommon is a 5-drop, so Lanamore Visionary helping you get that out early is key. Warden of the Woods is a very strong finisher, but I'd rather have this enabler than just a big creature. You can pick up a lot of those. Okay, so here we're picking a black card, and the card we're picking is Kitesail, Freebooter, or Carrion Grub. Now, Carrion Grub is a bit better in the Reanimator archetype because you're playing huge creatures, so this can be like a 7/5 for 3 if you hit like a Waker of Waves or throw that out early game, or like even an 8/5 if you decide to play Gloomstar in your deck. Extremely powerful. In green, it's also can be quite strong. Like flip a Colossal Dreadmaw, you got 6/5. That's very powerful. But Kitesail Freebooter is what a fantastic card that is really going to clear the way for me to do what I want to do. So I'm going to be taking the Freebooter here. I really want to try the Carrion Grub, but not in this deck as I currently have it. Okay, I'm so sad that I'm not in blue. Because Enthralling Hold and Roman Ghostlight are two extremely good blue cards. For black cards, we got Rise Again and Village Rites. I like Rise Again more in the, like I said, black-blue Reanimator deck, as there's not the most ways to get big creatures into your graveyard in black-green. You'd think that there'd be more ways to do so in black other than, you know, like the Carrion Grub that we saw earlier. Blue is really where you want to go to put cards into your graveyard. This is fairly awkward. Blue is open, so I could transition into blue-black Reanimator. If that's the case, I'm going to take this Rise Again and see where we go. Okay, there's another Carrion Grub, and that spells and a bunch of other black cards here. Again, another reason why I don't draft black that often unless I'm drafting white-black is that a lot of the cards are a little bit underpowered. Like Duress is a sideboard card most of the time. Village Rites, again, like I said, there's not that many great sack outlets in this set. Alchemist's Gift and Sanguine Indulgence are good cards if you're in the white-black deck, but they're a bit underwhelming otherwise. But yeah, I'll take this Carrion Grub here and be pretty happy about it. Ooh, and a late good green cards, so maybe black just isn't the way I want to go, or sorry, blue isn't the way I want to go, but these are definitely good signals that I'm in the right colors, so I don't think this is actually going to end up being that much of a challenge draft. I think I'm just might be very happy with this deck, but we're taking the removal spell for cheap creatures. This is going to ensure that our Garruk's Harbinger is going to have an easier time getting in, and then that's going to be able to let us, you know, basically draw a card whenever we hit our opponent. As well, it can slow down any awful aggro draws that we might end up facing, like that Alpine Houndmaster that I passed first pick. So, yeah, this is looking like a pretty good start here. Okay. There's a Spined Megalodon for the blue-black Reanimator deck, but I'm happy enough taking a Gnarled Sage here. It's a solid body for the cost, has reach, which is good because I don't really want to be blocking with Kitesail Freebooter. I don't know how many Fetid Imps I'm going to get to hold down the air. And if we can draw an extra card during a turn, like playing a Lanamore Visionary, or any other number of ways, then because a 4/6 with vigilance, that can extremely easily swing in. Okay, so there's a shrine, which we could hedge on shrines. The blue shrine could be coming next pack. Another spine megalodon. If we did want to pivot, add a duress for the sideboard. I'll take the duress. I'm not entirely sure I want to pivot right now, and okay, well, so we got a walking corpse, and well, it's just I never want to play this card unless I'm playing Liliana's Devotee, which I would love to get in this deck, but I'll have to find it first. And a run afoul from the side. That's another thing that can take care of a pesky flyer on their end. Alright, so there's an Epitaph Golem for the side for mill decks. I'm going to keep pointing that out until I end up doing it. Infernal Scarring, which is better in the lifelink deck, the black-white life gain deck. And a Village Rites, which is what I'm going to be taking here. You're trading 2 for 2 here. But if you can make it so that the creature that you're sacrificing is just not useful anymore, then you are getting a 2 for 1 here. Like if your opponent casts a removal spell on one of your creatures, or you just have a dorky, like a snare spinner or something that you just don't need anymore. Or preferably the Saproling token off of Deathbloom Valid. Here, Sanguine Indulgence, Garruk's Gorehorn, just taking the cards that are in my colors. I'm likely not. I'll take another Sanguine Indulgence. I might side an extra 1 in for particularly grindy matchups, I don't know. Okay. There's a Conclave Mentor here. Hi. All these extremely powerful, aggressive 2-color creatures that I wish I could have. So there's Chromatic Orrery, which is this big mythic that adds 5 mana. You can spend mana as over any color, so you just have all the colors you want. And you can spend 5, tap it to draw a card for each color among permanents you control. In our deck right now, that's 5. You can tap 5 to draw 2. Unfortunately, you can't tap itself to pay for it. It's a really funny card, and I might have taken it and ran with it if there weren't a Kitesail Freebooter and a lot more Visionary in the pack. I'm taking another Visionary here, so I can play these big creatures nicely. Okay, so here's an Azusa. Now, Azusa is awkward because chances are you're not going to be playing that many extra lands off of this during your average limited game, even if you curve it out into it. Yes, it can really ramp you, like put you to 6+ lands on turn 4, but 1/2 body's not great, and it really predicates you on having a lot of lands in hand. So I'd rather just take a Snare Spinner here as an early blocker, so that I can live till the late game and be able to out-creature my opponents. Yeah, I just don't like Azusa in most limited formats. Alright, so here I've got a bad deal. I still think this card's a bad deal. Though we do have a lot more Visionaries to ramp to it, I'm not sure about that. There's a Gloomsower here. These do tend to go late, so I'm not 100% loving picking one up right now. This isn't a fantastic pack, so I don't know if it's gonna wheel or not. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's likely not gonna wheel, but I think that's fine. I'd rather take a Season Trading here. This can give Carrion Grub Trample and especially Lanamore or Garruk's Harbinger Trample. Extremely powerful, and one of the cards I want to pick up most right now is Drowsing Pteranodon. 3 for 2 mana, defender unless you control a creature with power 4 or greater. Season Training is a great card to put on it to allow it to attack, and that's another card that will hold down the fort until the time comes where we get in. So here we've got a Crypt Lurker and a Truffle Snout. We're picking one of those. Crypt Lurker is one of the few ways in black to throw specific cards into your graveyard, and you get to loot if you do so. But I'm in for a Truffle Snout here. It's a very solid card. Ooh. Alright, so we're doing well here that we got to Cultivate. This is another ramp spell, 3-mana ramp spell to go with our Llanowar Visionary, and puts a land into our hand as well. So it's sort of like drawing two. It's sort of like a 2-for-1 if you're okay with both the two being lands. This will also help us enable splashes if we want to, and our big creatures should we not have Rise Against. Ooh, wow, okay. So this is pick 6, and we got 2 extremely good cards that we want, and we want both of them. As much as I was saying I want Drowsing Pteranodon earlier, I have to take the Grasp of Darkness here. I've got just the single removal spell, and I definitely need more to make sure that my game plan goes swimmingly. Ooh, there's the Silver Smoke Ghoul for the life gain deck. One of these days I'm going to open this card early or be in that life gain deck when one of these comes around, but so far I just never seem to be in the deck. There's a Jungle Hollow here, which I like the black duels a lot better than most others, specifically because of Grasp of Darkness. But there's also another Kitesail Freebooter here, and I can't pass that up. It's gonna be really sweet. Alright, now, Fetid Imp's a good card, but if we're taking a 2-drop here, we're taking the Pteranodon. And ooh, the Orrery came around, and now that we have 2 Visionaries and a Cultivate, I'm gonna take it, and we'll see if it ends up making the deck. It could be extremely sweet. Here, that's a very late Gale Swooper. White is so open. Taking an Alchemist Gift, that's fine. We'll take a bad deal here. We do have 3 ramp spells, but I'm likely not playing it still. Crippler came around, I'm happy about that. The Gloomsword did not. That's a bit unfortunate, but it cut Silent Dart. I never like playing that card. But even if we do, this take a Bloodfell Caves in case we open a sick red spell. Like, this is 23 cards right here. And, you know, 4 2-drop creatures, 4 3-drop creatures, and some random cards at the top, like, and a Liliana Steward that we're not playing. Okay. So here, there's a Pestilent Haze for the side. Now, it's extremely awkward that I have 2 Kitesail Freebirds for this card, and the Llanowar Visionaries, but a decent amount of my creatures survive it. If I did take it, I'm unlikely to play it main, but it's a great sideboard card to have. However, I mean, there's still a Grasp of Darkness here, and that's going to be just better overall, I think. Maybe the Pestilent Haze will wheel, I don't know. All these sick cards. Okay, so we gotta have a think here, because this is a Waker of Waves, and we do have a Cultivate, and like Cripplurker, Rise Again, we're like half in that archetype. So I really do have to think here if I want to take it and maybe splash it. If I'm not taking it, I'm taking a Cripplurker, and it's not the spiciest card, certainly, or a Mind Drop for the side. Yeah, I think I've just convinced myself that I'm taking the Waker of Waves and seeing what happens. It could be extremely sweet. Ooh. And there's a Griffinary. I wish I was in white black so bad. I should just force that. Whatever. Here, there's Truffle Snout is a solid creature. Always glad to have it. But there is a lower scale Quaddle. I did just pick up this Waker of the Waves looking to potentially splash blue. I'm taking it. Oh, alright. Speaking... Well, we got a very cool way of getting big creatures into our graveyard with Spark Hunter Masticore. As an additional cost to cast it, you have to discard a card, but if you discard, you know, a big thing to rise again, that's not that bad. 3/4 for 3, fantastic stats, and paying 3 mana to give it indestructible is going to be an excellent blocker. And protection from planeswalkers is relevant. There's 5 of them in this set. Yeah, that is an excellent pickup. Ooh, okay. So Witch's Cauldron here, which is kind of goes in the green black red sacrifice kind of thing. We don't have any good ways of doing good stuff with it, so we're gonna take a Deathbloom Ballad here and be happy. It's just a great card. God, imagine how many Revitalizes I would have had right now. Whatever. So here, pick up another Snare Spinner. Even if I'm not playing in main, could play on the side for pesky flyer decks. A Life Goes On for the sideboard. Ooh, there's a Sanctum of Fruitful Harvest here. Now the question is, do I play that or do I play another Gnarled Sage? Unfortunately, I didn't see any Gloomsowers in the rest of these packs, so we're likely not getting one of those. Yeah, let's take the Sanctum to help splash. The Pestilent Haze came back though. That's an excellent sign. Crypt Lurker came around as well. Very happy about that. I'm just taking the Griffinary just to spite people because I wish I was playing that. You can toss this Silent Dart, these Village Rites, this Alchemist Gift. The Pestilent Haze, we can throw that on the side. Get rid of this stupid bad deal. Likely not playing the Indulgence. Like a silly Steward. Stormhouse Crypt just in case somebody tries to get fancy against us. And so many Revitalizes. So many. Okay. So this deck, I'm not the most thrilled by it, honestly. Not getting a bigger green creature or black creature like a Gloomsword for this Rise Again is making me extremely sad. Though I suppose that is my fault for not valuing them higher. Like Gloomsword tends to go so late so often that I'm surprised it didn't this time around. But all is not lost. We got a very solid early game. And we've got this like lower scale Quaddle, Waker, Waves, Chromatic, Orrery, dumb stuff that we can be doing. So I have a feeling that we're gonna just do dumb stuff this draft. Let's cut a couple islands here, throw in a couple swamps, and find 3 cards to cut. This is a bit tough. I think I'm gonna cut one of the... No, I can't cut one of the Snare Spinners. Because two of my early drops I don't want to block with. And I need to get to the late game to really be on top of things. Sarv's gonna grab this. Okay, I can grab any creature, not just green creatures. That's always something to check. I like all my 3s except for potentially the Sanctum or the Truffle Snout. Just playing the Sanctum as a kind of awkward ramp spell, color fixer, I'm not thrilled by it. I'm also going to cut this lower scale coatl as I'm not entirely certain it's the best idea to try splashing that. Splashing such an early drop, and I don't have a ton of ways to rapidly grow it. Yes, it's going to grow every turn, so like, still attacking with like 5/5 on turn 6 with it. That's still good, but yeah, maybe I also... Well, if I cut the Waker Waves, I'm not playing this Rise again, that's for damn sure. Uh, Gorehorn's a bit awkward. But having a 7 power creature for my carrion grub is quite good, and I can always toss the cities and training on to just bash. So we gotta cut one more thing. The Truffle Snout is probably the card that's the least synergistic with what I'm doing right now. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other 3-drops. Well, I think I'll cut that for now. I can always side it in against aggressive decks where I feel like a 3/3 body is going to be great, or gaining 4 life is going to be great. Yeah, I think this is where we're going to go. And, well, okay. Let's take one more look, because my mana's kind of bad. This Waker of Waves is just making everything horrible. Okay. As cool as it is to be doing this Rise Again, Waker of Wave shenanigans, I really don't have that many. I don't know. It's so awkward. I really needed more big creatures or big creatures that are in my colors, because I don't like. I'm not thrilled about 8 swamps with double grasp. I'm not thrilled about 7 forests with Garruk's Harbinger. That just goes against a lot of my sensibilities right now. But I really don't have much else that I could... Like, I could cut the Waker and the Rise Again, throw in the Truffle Snout, and maybe the Bad Deal. That makes my Carrion Grub a fair amount worse. It's likely going to be a 3/5 for 4, which isn't the worst. Let's try this. Whatever. My mana's gonna be perfect anyways. Okay, let's see how we do here. And this is why remember how I said my mana's always gonna be perfect? No, we gotta mulligan this. And we have to mulligan that. This hour we can keep. Let's toss a forest and a Gorehorn. So we've at least got early protection from any aggressive starts from my opponent. Dropping the Tyrannodon here. The best draw on my deck would be a Garruk's Harbinger right now. That would actually get me back in this game. It's not Garruk's Harbinger, but it is a Cultivate, and that's going to be useful. Let's grab a couple things here. Now we've successfully ramped, so with 5 mana we can play pretty much everything in our deck, except for the Orrery and hard casting the Waker of Waves. One's got a lot of Sky stuff. Good thing I have the Snare Spinner. Pass. Unfortunately, because we were on the draw and mulligan to 5, our opponent is up a lot of cards, and they're playing a bunch of Sky Scanners, which cycle. But lucky me, I've got snare spinners for days. So me and my opponent are just gonna stare at each other until them probably plays something that can get through, like a gnarled sage or a colossal dreadmaw, maybe even one of the big blue creatures. Okay, they've got cultivate as well. Let's see if they're playing a third color. Likely, they're not. Slamming this eliminate on their Keen Glide Master at some point here. I don't want them to be able to give certain stuff flying to really get through my stuff. Another land is a bit awkward here, but that's enough for when we draw Chromatic Orrery. Sabertooth Mauler, they might just swing in with Sky Scanners just to grow their Mauler. That's gonna be annoying. It's just out of eliminate range as well. Oh, they're frost breathing my snare spinners. So I'm gonna eat their Glide Master here. Yes, it does grow their Mauler, but it saves my eliminate for something else. And Mauler is still gonna be in Grasp of Darkness range here. Ooh, Llanowar Visionary, that's a solid draw. I'm gonna play it and leave up Grasp mana or Waker of Waves mana, but not leaving up Grook's Harbinger mana. Okay. Let's tap and Cetizen training up this Drowsing Tyrannodon. Okay, a Spark Hunter Masticore. That's gonna be huge for just blocking this Sabertooth Mauler again and again and again. I should have thought about Spark Hunter Massacre a little bit when it came down to playing out my lands like this, because I do need to discard something to it. They got Colossal Dreadmaw, that's incredibly annoying. My turn. Yeah, I have to throw away the Freebooter here, unfortunately. Very scared of my opponent having tricks, but the Spark Hunter Massacre will make it so that my opponent's attacks are pretty much moot. They can attack with the Sabertooth Mauler and the Colossal Dreadmaw if they want. In that case, I block the Dreadmaw with the Tyrannodon and the Spark Hunter Masticore. Give that. Oh no, they've got a Roaming Ghostlight to bounce my Masticore. That's extremely unfortunate, as I'm gonna have to discard another card to get back in play. Got Library Larcenist, which I'm probably just gonna eliminate. Let's make sure that this Colossal Dreadmaw doesn't bother us anymore. Okay. And I've got enough to... Do I nuke this? I'm gonna nuke this Larcenist now and hope that the next card I draw is not someone that I really want to play that much. Ooh. That's extremely awkward here. I'm gonna pass here. This is so telegraphing what I have, but hey. Block Ghostlight, block Mauler. Grasp Mauler. Hope they don't have anything. They don't. Excellent. So now I've got a blocker for their Sky Scanners. I've got a Spark Hunter Masticore on deck. Yep. Discarding another Kitesail Freebooter. And so now I'm ahead on board, which is excellent. My opponent's drawn a fair amount of lands, 11. And we got a Chromatic Orrery, that's hilarious. Unfortunately, we're spending 5 mana and tapping it to draw a single card because we only have the Snare Spinner. Oh, crap! Enthralling Hold on my Spark Hunter Masticore. That's extremely bad for me. Crud. And a track down to find something. Okay, so the Enthralling Hold is what they had on in their hand for a while. And they put 3 cards on top. And are playing a Truffle Snout this turn. Oh man, my opponent's turn was beastly. Let's see if we can try and get out of this somehow. Well, Crypt Lurker is a start. Because this can block their my Spark Hunter Masticore and Truffle Snout. Wait, they scryed 3 and kept land on top? Did they think they were just gonna win with that track down? Okay. Yeah, it is scry 3. You can put certain ones on the bottom. I'm just gonna activate Indestructible now. And what? It's like if they attack with everything, they lose their Truffles now as Sky Scanner and put me to 1. So we've got an even board here at this point. But they're at 13, I'm at 1. They can't attack in. Okay, we've drawn a land, so let's draw 2 cards. Couple more lands, perfect. Well, my opponent has way more lands than I do, so I suppose that is appropriate. So let's do the... Okay, they cast Track Down, Scry 3, and they kept a bunch of lands on top. I don't get it. Alright, well... let's throw down this Waker of Waves. And now at this point we're really looking for other Grasp of Darkness to take down this Masticore to be able for me to attack. Either that or more blockers. Llanowar Visionary, that's a bit annoying. Opponent gets to draw another card. Silent Dart. Whew, thank goodness I have this Waker of Waves. Because yeah, they can shoot down my Snare Spinner. But their Sky Scanner now has 0 power, so that's excellent for me. 15 cards to 13. Let's draw 2. Oh, Carrion Grub's awkward that I have so little cards in my graveyard, or in my library. Right now it's going to be 3 power. Play the Crypt Lurker first. And actually, I'm just gonna discard this Carrion Grub. I think I just need to find my my other Grasp of Darkness here. That's the priority. Next turn I'm going to be able to attack with... I'm actually going to be able to attack them, which is good. Depending on what they have. I've got 13 lands out. Right, well, getting crap. Put a counter on their Sky Scatter, smack me in the face for 1. So close to having a defense for that. That's a real shame. So my opponent has a bunch of stuff, a couple large creatures. They've got, you know, Roman Ghostlay, multiple Sky Scanners, Larcenist, King Glide Master, Lamar Visionary Pride Malkin. That's a lot of small creatures. Uh, so that's making me think that maybe I should put in the Pestilent Haze, but the thing that I'm most scared of from my opponent is like Colossal Dreadmaw and the Mauler, so I'm not sure that that's necessarily the best option. I think I'm gonna try it, and I'm also gonna put in this Alchemist Gift for some Death Touch action. Uh, like they've got Silent Dart, Track Down, Frost Breath, Cultivate, and Thralling Hold. So they definitely have targets for this Kitesail Freebooter. But I think I'm gonna cut one that I bring in this Pestilent Haze, and I might want this Lore Scale Coatl as well, uh, because I'm gonna need to be able to outgrow my opponent here. Um, I'm not 100% on this Citizen training. Uh, that doesn't grow any of my creatures to be able to deal with Dreadmaw effectively. None of my creatures have 5 power. And maybe the Rise again. It just doesn't do that much in this deck. Uh, yeah, I think this is kind of nah. If I'm playing the Waker Waves, I have to play the Rise again. Maybe I just cut the Gorehorn. Yeah, I mean I cut the way I have to give it trample, so it's a bit of an awkward creature. Now the screen was going dark as I did that, so I don't know if that actually took effect or not. This is slightly awkward, but any land unlocks Landmark Visionary, any swamp unlocks Grasp. Looks like I have a 40 card deck, so that's cool. And starting off with the double grasp was going to be huge, dealing with what my opponent plays, assuming that I can get the other swamp. I've also got Spark Hunter Masticore as an early play as well if I draw uh, any lands as well, so I think this is a solid enough keep. Now thinking about it, this is a matchup where maybe I should have chosen to be on the draw. My opponent isn't particularly aggressive, and having the extra card could have been like really powerful. Like here, I would much rather have this hand on the draw, so that I have an extra chance of drawing a land for everything that I need to do. I think my internet is being a bad boy right now. Either that or oh, my internet seems fine. Okay, there we go. Maybe it's just arena servers, or my opponent's just taking the longest mulligan decision of their life. I'm not sure. Okay, the timer popped up for my opponent, which means that my internet is good. I have to be careful not to drum my fingers too much. This mic is a metal mic, so it's particularly sensitive to vibrations on the surface that's on right now. I did order a mic arm, but it's not going to get here for a bit. Okay, so my opponent ran their timer out, which is excellent for me. Because if that means they're AFK or they're having internet troubles, I might be able to pick up a free win here. Considering how long it's taking them to do their first turn, I'm pretty hopeful. And even then, like if they are having internet troubles disconnecting and do end up reconnecting, it's very possible that they have a really bad hand. Oh, there's the timer again. Come on. I know normally I like to say, oh, my opponent should play it out. I want to have like a proper game where each player plays their best. I think that's where it's the most fun. Uh, but still, I need the gems. I won't look a gift AFK in the mouth. All right, victory. So after going 0-1 in that match, we have got a win, and we're progressing to the next one. Oh god. Is this you, Maximus? Are you sabotaging my opponents to make sure that I go 3-0 in the draft you requested? Alright. Playing first, and cannot keep this. Can, however, keep this. Throw a forest away. We've got the solid curve of Freebooter into Visionary here. Visionary replaces itself. Yeah, let's Freebooter here. Mostly just in case my opponent has like a Lofty Denial, and Lofty Denial is my Elvish Visionary. That would be pretty bad. Opponent was waiting, so they must have an opt. Yeah, they have an opt. They've got opt, Hunter's Edge, which I'm taking, and some dorky stuff. So it looks like they're on blue-green deck like my opponent, with very much the draw 2 archetype. So this Tome Anima is going to be potentially quite unblockable. But I decided not to opt at the end of turn there. Interesting. Let's play this Island and this Visionary. Though that was bad, I should have played a Swamp because there's, well, it won't end up mattering, but there's the possibility that I might end up playing a Grasp of Darkness. Like, if I drew Grasp of Darkness and another, like, cheap black card off of Visionary, it's possible that I would have just played both. Okay. Now we get to play a Freebooter and opt in Ranger's Guile as well as a Gnarled Sage. Okay, I don't want to deal with Ranger's Guile. That's going to be so annoying. Snare Spinner to stop their Sky Scanner. And let's swing in with Kitesail Freebooter. So we've drawn a lot of early game cards. This does tend to happen to me a fair amount because of the huge oh, thank you so much. The huge emphasis that I put on getting early stuff, that I do end up with a lot of decks and a lot of board states where I just have a bunch of 2s and 3s and nothing really to go over the top. But I consider that's a feature, not a bug. Okay, a Crypt Lurker. Well, we can continue to plink him. Now, the question is, do I want to sacrifice anything to draw a card? And the answer is no. There's the possibility that I get rid of the Snare Spinner, because I do have these Freebooters to block. Actually, yeah, I'll do that. Oh, well, another land. Whatever. Oh, and I'm getting punished here. Now I can't attack anymore. Well, that's a lie. I can attack. It just means I'm trading my Crypt Lurker for one of their creatures. Yep. I will gladly make them not have a looter. Play another island, and now I'm just waiting on drawing some big stuff. That's not big stuff. Well, let's play it anyways and pass the turn. Unfortunately, my opponent can start bashing with this Tome Anima, and they've got They've drawn out of their mana screw. Now they have a gnarled sage as well. Their board state now dwarfs mine. Luckily I don't need this mana from this visionary anymore, so I can trade this for the Pride Milk. It should have come to that. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I'm gonna play out these lands. I'm gonna keep one for Spark Hunter Massacre, but in case I draw Chromatic Orrery, I want to be able to activate it, draw 2 cards, and then have the most mana possible to play other things. I could trade a Freebooter for a Tome Anima here and give them like a Ranger's Guile, but I think I'm at high enough life that I don't want to do that just yet. Now, the thing I'm worried about is that, okay, well, whatever. The thing I would say I'm worried about is my opponent holding up like cancel, because this is a board state where you just like, if you have cancel, you just hold it up and wait. All right, we got the Waker of Waves here, so we're in a much better position now. They're gonna have to rely on this Tome Anima to kill me. And if they want to swing with their gnarled sages, they're trading 3 damage for a gnarled sage, which I'm a little worried about that, to be fair. Okay, they don't want to do that. They just want to plink away with their Tome Anima and continue this stare-off contest. Okay, so we've got a Rise again. I can play that on Crypt Lurker, sacrifice a Visionary draw card. I am in for that. His Visionaries are not doing me much, and I desperately need to find some action here. Like a Spark Hunter Masticore. Unfortunately, my Waker Waves cannot attack through these Gnarled Sages effectively, because they unfortunately have 4 toughness. So my Waker Waves would kill 1, and whatever else they choose to block with, like the Pride Malkin. Yeah, I'm definitely in trouble this game. Go away, Modoka. Okay. Frantic Inventory, that's abysmal for me. Because that likely means that they have more Frantic Inventories. And Keen Glide Master, that's a problem. So at least it makes eliminate a live draw. Okay, Carrion Grub. This likely isn't going to be too big. But we'll see. Okay, it's 3-5. So we have to pass here. They have enough mana to activate that King Glide Master twice, which means they're getting back both their spells. My opponent's board is unfortunately very well suited to deal with how mine is looking right now. And they've got a big Dreadmaw. So that's extremely curious to me that they decided to do this. Instead of jumping their Glide Masters and potentially trying to kill me in the air, they just decided to play a big old Dreadmaw. I drew my Grasp of Darkness, which unfortunately I do have to fire off on this Glide Master. Yeah, if they drop 1 more land, they can jump 3 creatures, and that's so bad for me. I really wish that I was able to get rid of the Glide Master another way and use this Grasp of Darkness on the Tome Anima or the Gnarled Sages, because at present I don't have any other ways of dealing with the Tome Anima. So I'm likely just not going to win this game, unfortunately. I'll have much I rely on game 2, but I'm still going to play it out, see what happens. Can't believe I played against two blue-green, like, kind of go big decks. Uh, those are the kinds of decks I was really hoping not to play against. I was hoping to play against a lot of aggro or small ball stuff where I could out maneuver them, but yeah, my opponent having a very evasive creature is going to be, in tome anima, is going to be the end for me, I suspect. Baron. Okay. So that's tossing the Waker back. Oh no. They're... Okay. So they're taking their Kitesail Freebooter back to my hand so that they can Hunter's Edge my other Freebooter. And now their Sky Scanner is big enough to start bashing it on its own. And heck, they've even got a Ranger's Gal. They might just fire this off for the extra damage. They didn't. They chose to keep it in their hand, which is a bit interesting considering I'm dropping this Freebooter now. Oh, they've got their own Waker of Waves. That's so annoying. Okay, well, let's toss down this big Gore Horn and pass. Unfortunately, both my Snare Spirits are in the grave. I'm getting real punished for these Crypt Lurker sacrificing these Snare Spinners. I'm not gonna block them. Good, just gonna go to 2. F it. Okay, I have Gnarled Sage in my deck, so there's a possibility, however slim, that I'm still gonna win this one. Though I don't have any way of dealing with Waker of Waves. Okay. Let's go to game 2. My opponent's a big green deck. This is so annoying. I think I have to put in the bad deal and just hope to ramp and make sure and get rid of it for them. Definitely need some things to trade up. They have like the King Glide Master. I can maybe catch a Quaddle. They've got they've got, oh, was it the last person that had multiple Sky Scanners? I don't know. Got Pride Malkin, Baron. I'm not gonna bring in the Pestilent Haze for this matchup. They've got like Hunter's Edge, Frantic Inventory, Opt. They're mostly creatures. Oh, this is so awkward. Let's cut a Freebooter. Let's cut the Gorehorn. Let's cut a Crypt Lurker. And hope upon hope. It's either that or we put in another Crypt Lurker, take out Cities in training, but considering my opponent has multiple Gnarled Sages, being able to make my Spark Hunter Masticore, my Crypt Lurker, my Deathbloom Thud, my Drowsing Pteranodon able to trade with them is decent. Or making my Waker of Waves able to destroy their Waker of Waves. So yeah, this is gonna be tough. Really showing the fact that I'm really missing like Finishing Blow. Okay, this is an extremely awkward hand, but it's good enough that I'll keep. Because I can't cast this Grasp of Darkness, I can't even use this Wake Grove Waves is sleight of hand, but I feel like one of my best bets at winning is an early Pteranodon into some way of activating it. Let's play the grass, the swamp here, in case. Nah, there's pretty much no reason to play one land or the other here because I'm not grasping their one drop. Alright, so we got the Pteranodon again. Grook's Harbinger would be the best draw in my deck right now. Like, if I do draw Grook's Harbinger, I can attack with Drowsing Pteranodon, attacking for a lot of damage on turn 4 through stuff. Okay. Rise Again is going to be extremely useful should I draw an island. So I can discard Wake Grove Waves and then bring it back. This Freebooter is gonna give me information. And okay, just a Titanic Growth. So they got Library, Larcenist, Grook's Gorhorn, Gnarled Sage, and some lands. Let's see if they drew something that's not the Larcenist here. They're thinking. So, okay, they're just playing it. So it's possible that they have some other thing in hand. Drawing the swamp is good. Let's get rid of this Larcenist here so that they can't just use it to cycle, basically. Freaking internet. Because if they were thinking of potentially holding up something or playing a different 3-drop, it's possible that they are light on lands. Bad deal. I have a feeling it's going to be this is going to be a bad deal this game. As I do not have the mana to cast it. Like, with what my opponent's doing, it should be extremely good if I was able to get the mana to do it, because my opponent has expensive cards or lands that they would have to discard. They would have to make a Sophie's choice, but unfortunately they can play that. They can play their Gnarled Sage, which I am just snapping this off on. And now I've got my lower scale Quaddle. Yep. I suspected. Most of the time when I try splashing cards, it never works. Okay, we've got Forest, which does absolutely nothing here. We can bash. Hopefully they don't have like Hunter's Edge or other ways to get rid of my Terastodon. They've got a Jolriel and a Teferi's Protege, and I've used 2 of my removal spells. Now my opponent's deck is quite strong. Okay. Let's drop this Citizen Training on the Pteranodon to activate it. Okay, we got a Visionary here. That can draw us a card. And there's an island. So that's excellent for us. So now that we have this island and 6 lands, if we draw another island, we can just slam a Wake Grove Waves. That's gonna be very useful. Or we're just playing this lower scale Quaddle and then bad dealing them. We could potentially bad deal them now that they only have 1 card in hand. Okay, they're attacking with their Gorehorn, and I am snapping off this block. I don't want to deal with taking that much damage. Okay. So Spark Hunter Masticore, that is going to leave me with 4 mana, not enough to rise again this Wake Grove Waves, but I can play the Spark Hunter, play the lower scale Quaddle, and start clawing my way back in here. They do have a Glide Master that can jump stuff, so I do have to be wary of that. But okay, they played that, and crap. Okay, so slightly punished here for not bad dealing them, but that's fine. I've got my own, and now we're just gonna stare at each other, though they can jump their Wake Grove Waves, and I need to find another Grasp of Darkness to stop this. let's play a bad deal. More scales getting big. And let's bash. Yeah, they have so little power they can't get rid of my creatures, so I'm reducing them to chump blocking. They're gonna have to think long and hard about whether or not they want to keep attacking with these Waker waves, and not just leave it back to block. Turn. So this Carrion Grove's gonna be a 2/5. Oh god, opponent drew a Sky Scanner, which is abysmal for me. Because now they get Cat, they potentially have something else. So they just made 2 blockers that turn and can continue to jump their Waker waves at me. And they have a lower scale Quaddle of their own. So they tap themselves out of jumping Waker waves, so they're just going to attack with it. I'll block and make it indestructible. Just gonna tap your Waker waves for no reason and make me waste my time. Okay. More power to you, opponent. Are they gonna Defrace Protege now? Not a fantastic reason to do that, but whatever. Let's toss down the grub. And okay, 2/5. Play a forest. And they've got, yeah, still not enough power to stop this, so and again make them trade off, lose a couple creatures. But now we're in the thick of it. So what are my options here? My options are, like, I have to draw Grasp of Darkness to deal with this King Glide Master. That's the only thing I can do. So the question is, do I block? If they're just jumping the Waker, I'm not blocking. Because activate, draw, activate, that's 3. Okay, so they're gonna have lethal next turn no matter what I do. So like if I, yeah, they're gonna have lethal next turn no matter what, with jumping their stuff. So I just have to chill, and I could potentially draw a Snare Spinner to help block, Gnarled Sage to help block, or the aforementioned Grasp of Darkness. Well, I can play this Chromatic Orrery. And maybe my opponent will be dumb enough to block with their Gnarled Sage and their lower scale Quaddle, I don't know. Or their King Glide Master. So, okay, well, they're gonna just play Sky Scanner to draw the card. That's frustrating. I mean, it's possible that they only jump their Waker Waves here. They don't jump both their creatures. If they do that, then I get to draw 3 cards next turn and maybe get back in this game. Always give your opponents the opportunity to make a mistake. Oh, actually, I think they did make a mistake. They played their sky scanner instead of jumping, and now they were only able to jump the Wake Grove waves. I might still be in this. See, never concede. Like they need to use their Teferi's Protege to put the last counter on lower scale Quaddle. And now Titanic Growth on Skyscanner doesn't kill me, so I've got options. Okay, Snare Spinner, that's a card. Let's draw 3. Alchemist Gift, that's the life gain I need. Attacking with Wake Grove waves as well. I suspect they're just gonna chump block. That's the smartest thing for my opponent to do is chump block here with Sky Scanner and Cat Token. Either that, or they could think of ways to get rid of my Wake Grove waves with this Titanic Growth, but they chose not to do that. That would be very bad for me. There's a strong possibility that I shouldn't have actually attacked with this Wake Grove waves because of that possibility. But looks like my opponent is just taking the very safe route of just like saying, no, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to potentially lose stuff to dumb tricks. Oh no, they've changed their minds. Oh no, they haven't. Okay, excellent. Let's give lower scale Coatl +1/+1 lifelink, gaining 12 up to 17. And Gnarled Sage doesn't do... Yeah, Gnarled Sage doesn't do anything. That Snare Spinner couldn't. So play the Snare Spinner, leave up Indestructible activation for the Masticore. Crap. So my lower scale Quaddle is back in my hand, it is no longer gigantic. And now we're in a situation where we're in a lot of trouble, even if we're able to find the Grasp of Darkness and kill the Glide Master, because I see little ways of actually winning this game. My opponent's, making a cat every turn. Their Coatl is huge, so that I can't profitably really attack through it. Jumping that. Alright, fine. Waste my time. Tap your big thing. I'm okay with that. Okay. Let's draw 3. Wow. My second grasp is in my last 5 cards. I definitely haven't used 2, right? Yeah, I've only used the 1. Okay, so Llanowar Visionary. Go for broke. Cultivate. Ah! Okay. So I have to play the Gnarled Sage here to be able to dub block. And here I can attack with Wakers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, no, I can't. If I attack with the Waker, my opponent's going to block with a bunch of stuff and Titanic Growth. So what happens if I trade my Waker of Waves for like 1, 2, 3? Let's find out. Alternatively, they just jump. Yeah, that's fine too. But I got a cat off the board. 4 cards to 12. This is really unfortunate because that means I can't activate my Chromatic Orrery. That will put me to 0 cards left in library, and I do not have the time to be able to take my opponent out here. Now, if I'm lucky, they might only attack with their Coatl. No, they've jumped both. And I must block both. So, my top card has to be Grasp of Darkness for me to even attempt to be back in this game. It is not. Let's just draw our last 3 cards anyways. Yeah, one more down, of fucking course. Okay, well, let's get rid of this stupid Glide Master, and then Attack Growth saves it anyways. The Crypt Lurker, and discard a card so that we deck ourselves. Wow, that was an incredibly frustrating game, but I suppose I do deserve it after the first match. So going into the third game here, we really need to win the next one, because if I'm able to win the next one, then I at least have enough gems to go into well, I have enough gold to go into a cheap draft anyways. But be able to go into a cheap draft and work my way up to more gems to be able to continue doing these traditional drafts. I don't really want to go into a quick draft right now, as the season's gone on. I haven't played any drafts for ranking since my last video where I ended up at like 120 or whatever, and now I'm down to in the 500s or 600s, so I have to be extremely careful if I do play that my ranking might get knocked down to not qualify me for some arena tournaments in the future. So I'm on the draw. This is an awkward hand, but I'll keep it. It's got a Masticore into a Pteranodon into a Masticore, though in this case Pteranodon into a Llanowar Visionary. My opponent's blue-white stuff. Luckily I've got this blocker here so that they can't just dome me with the Elder and start looting away and sculpting the game to their liking. They do have a Sky Scanner though, okay. Likely this is a blue-white flyer deck. Which, hey, I thought I had enough stuff to deal with flyers, like this Snare Spinner here, but didn't really save me last game. Okay. So, drew a Freebooter, another card I can't cast. But, okay, a bunch of small creatures. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Warding Battlements out of my opponent soon. Okay. Here we can drop down this Masticore, and I don't want a Crypt Lurker. And we can drop a Snare Spinner. So my opponent pretty much can't attack through my stuff without doing something tricky. I expect Roman Ghostlight here. Osprey's Lieutenant? No! I would probably put the counter on itself, honestly, yeah. So now, there's a swamp, that's nice. So now I can toss down this Freebooter get some information, and leave up Indestructible for Spark Hunter Masticore. Capture Sphere and Swift Response. Yep. Yeah, Capture Sphere goes away. Now my Masticore is safe. I just have to make sure that my Freebooter just stays put for the rest of this game, pretty much. Okay. So let's play this Death Bloom Thallid. Still leaving up Indestructible. Unfortunately, Basri's Lieutenant is just out of range for all of my removal spells, being a 4-drop with 5 toughness. So the best way of me removing it is, making a silly attack with a creature, then blocking, waiting until damage is dealt, and then Grasp of Darknessing it. Because if I Grasp of Darkness it before damage is dealt, my creature will just get Swift Response, and it will be sad for me. Waker of Waves would be the best draw in my deck, because I can throw that and then be able to get in. Now there's the question of, do I play this Forest? And I'm not going to. Yes, there is the Chromatic Orrery quandary, but should my opponent have Roaming Ghostlight to return Spark Hunter Massacre to my hand, I do need to have something to discard to it, to replay it. Basri Solidarity, that's huge for my opponent. Because not only are their creatures gigantic now, they all have +1/+1 counters, so that when they die, my opponent will get 2/2 Knights from Basri's Lieutenant. Oy. Frost breathing down my creatures as well. Oh no. If I want to kill this lieutenant, I have to lock with all of my creatures. And that's worth it. Because then my opponent won't get any knights from their other stuff. They're likely maybe killing the Sky Scanner and the Visionary. Yeah. Or the Snare Span and the Visionary, I should say. I get to loot twice. Basri Solidarity into Frost Breath. I should be playing that deck. That's exactly what I want to do most of the time. They don't want their Swift Response. Interesting. Another land. Crud. Okay. At least we can play one of these. So my opponent's attacks are going to be extremely bad for me. I'm pretty much dying to them. My best option here. So I need to rise again. The question is what? Because I could get Lanimore Visionary, draw a card, and have these 2 stuff to untap. Unfortunately, that's 3 blockers to my opponent's 5 attackers, and I do need to deal with this Sky Scanner eventually. Alternatively, I could get Crypt Lurker, sacrifice Deathbloom Thallid, and then I've got 4 blockers for my opponent's 5 attackers. Still need to deal with the Sky Scanner eventually, but I'm under much less pressure there. Or I could rise again the Sky Scanner, again 5/3. I've dealt with the Sky Scanner, but I can't really deal with the rest of my opponent's creatures, especially if they have a prowess spell. So I think my best option here is to tap like you, and you, and rise again the Crypt Lurker. Sacrificing the Thallid, drawing a card, and it's not the land. Crud. But this does mean I have a 3-4 to block with. My opponent's got 3 cards in hands to potentially trigger prowess with their Jeskai Elder, which is a huge pain, which is going to be a huge problem. Or they have a Ghost Light for my Crypt Lurker. They're thinking about it. Do they want... Yeah, they want to get rid of that. And just bashing. So, luckily I can eat a Jeskai Elder here. I can chump the Watchdog, and I'm taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down to 2? Ugh, that's very, very, very unfortunate. But I think it's something I have to do. I tell you what though, Pestilent Haze is going to be going right into my deck from the sideboard. Okay, there's a Grasp. Let's nuke Ghostlight. Play a land, play a Crypt Lurker. Can't do anything. Have to block their Sky Scanner with my Freebooter, which gives them a Capture Sphere. They Gale Swooper, it's over. Okay. So blue-white skies for my opponent. This is gonna be, I think, an easier matchup than the other things, because I've got Run Afoul and Pestilent Haze to buy me time. This is a time when I don't want this Chromatic Orrery. Reanimating a Waker Waves, though, is going to shut down my opponent quite a bit because they are going fairly wide. I think I need Gorehorn, just as a big beefy creature to potentially deal with Basri's Acolyte. Not Basri's Acolyte, Basri's Lieutenant, should that be played. They've got some tricky stuff in like Sky Scanner, maybe Concordia Pegasi, so I don't want to cut my Freebooters. And they've got like Alpine Watchdog, so I don't want to cut my Drowsing Pteranodon. So perhaps the other thing that I might cut is the Cultivate here? Yeah, let's cut the... yeah, let's cut the Cultivate and see what happens. So I need to be extra careful here with how I play my Kitesail Freebooters. If I see a Pestilent Haze in my hand, I'm likely not playing them. Well, there's no Pestilent Haze, but that's a fine hand if I've ever seen one. Emphasis on fine. It's nothing special. Yeah, I really did bungle this draft. I drafted like I draft most normal decks, which is focused on early game stuff as much as possible, and ignore late game stuff to pick it up later, because generally, like late game creatures are fairly interchangeable. Like, ooh, a thing that I can kill. I'll do that right now. Like, what's the difference between getting a Colossal Dreadmaw or a Gloom Sower or a Warden of the Woods, really? They're all big, beefy creatures that you're mostly playing for the stats anyways. So, yeah, I messed up by not picking them, but early, because now I have ramp but no payoffs. My early game isn't aggressive, not even that defensive, really. Okay, play the island here. Let's offer up the trade. My opponent's 100% not taking it. And let's just play the Crypt Lurker to, get him. Decline to do anything. I don't want to discard this Deathbloom Thallid to grab another spell. I'd rather get in. Okay. Like, racing here at this point. I'm leaving up this Grasp of Darkness, which could be a mistake if they have Feet of Resistance. But should they play something dumb like a Gale Swooper. I want to make sure that it does not live. I'm fine with my opponent drawing a card here. I'm going to blow up their Gale Swooper and be attacking them back for 8 damage. Drawn 2 mana lands, like for a few games, but not gonna let that deter me. Put response on my Crypt Lurker. Sky Scanner, draw a card. Attacking me with both, so they do not fear any removal spell here. Let's see if I can draw one. No, but that will allow us to check out what my opponent's working with. A Solidarity and a Capture Sphere. Roman Ghostlight, Mistral Singer, Keen Glide Master. Interesting. I'm gonna take... So I'm attacking, they have to block it with Sky Scanner. Then they could play something like Mistral Singer, Boss-Free Solidarity, and keep up big blockers? Decently sized blockers? I don't like the looks of that, so I'll take that. I'm just going down to 3. Because they could like play Mistral Singer, King Glide Master, and just trade off creatures. Alternatively, they could play Roman Ghostlight, bounce my Thallid, but I'm guessing they might want to save the Roman Ghostlight until they can bounce my Kitesail Freebooter, and then play the Boss-Free Solidarity, which is glitching out at the moment. Yeah, just playing some stuff and taking it easy. Let's bash because we've got the Snarled Sage, though that's possibly bad. My opponent's gonna trade off a bunch of stuff here, though, so that's not the worst. And I do get Sapperling. So I get to play the Snarled Sage here. Now my opponent can Capture Sphere it or Roman Ghostlight it, if they so choose. They're gonna Ghostlight it. Luckily I've got enough stuff so that they can't attack with their Larcenist without losing it. So they may want to just trade in for a card, I don't know. And then they can Gnarled Sage it, or not Gnarled Sage it, Capture Sphere it on their turn. Let's trade off this Sapperling for a Larcenist here. They have a land. And we've got a Waker of Waves here. So let's chuck that. Snare Spinner and Crypt Lurker. Yeah, I'm in for a Snare Spinner. I'm gonna play the Snare Spinner here. Because this, my opponent isn't really gonna want to blow their Capture Sphere on the Snare Spinner here. So I'm, wait and make them use their mana on a little bit later. Now I'll play my Gnarled Sage. It will get Capture Sphered. My opponent's on 2, potentially 3 cards with Larcenist against my stuff. I do have to be Frost Breath. Okay, that's annoying because then they're going to be able to get in, draw more cards. I'm going to be taking 4 more next turn. More than that. Ah, oh, thank goodness me. Oh, hold up. Okay, let's play around Lofty Denial. Yeah. Big Waker. So that might let me win the game. We'll see though. My opponent's in blue-white, they can certainly have enough tricks up their sleeve to make bad things happen to me. They're cashing in their Larcenist for a card here. Luckily, nothing here punishes me for blocking. They don't play anything. Okay. So, I can't be a coward here. Like, if they have swift response, they have swift response. That's just a... Like, that's just... If that happens, that happens. But if they don't, I get to eat a Jeskai Elder. Oh, Feat of Resistance on blue. To save their Elder. Surprised they didn't want the counter on the Ghost Light. But that's just me. The Gorehorn. Now I'm attacking with two extremely lethal creatures next turn. And hopefully they don't have anything to interact with them. I might be able to actually win a game with this deck. Famous last words, right? Secure the scene. Okay. I do get a 1-1 out of the deal though. So I still have lots of attackers. Ooh. I think I just win here. Let's run afoul them. Looks like that might have happened right away. And yeah, they're done. Okay. Whew. Okay, we managed to sneak one in there. Now then. Has anything changed? Not necessarily. They've still got a bunch of stuff that dies to Feat of Resistance should they not Basri's Solidarity. I don't think that I want to put into rest. Like, Basri's Solidarity is definitely the card in their deck that's gonna nail me the most. They do have some other decent stuff for me to duress if I wanted to, but I think I might just have to rely on the freebooters and not dilute my deck any further. Run afoul is also like kind of awkward that they have like Sky Scatter to chuck to it. That's not necessarily the best creature that I want to get rid of, but I still think that's what's gonna happen. Yeah, I think I just have to run this back and hope. Hope upon hope. So I'll be on the draw, which means I'll have an extra card to play with. It's kind of reactive, a bit slow, but I think that's fine enough. Another Crypt Lurker isn't the thing that I want the most, but it's the thing that I will have to deal with. Okay, an Alpine Watchdog, and we do at least have a Llanowar Visionary. That's gonna be good. Play that, draw a card, trade for the Watchdog potentially. I do have to be careful that I would really love to be holding up Grasp of Darkness for a potential Basri's Lieutenant. But I think that Llanowar Visionary is just something that I need to do. I can't hold up Grasp of Darkness in fear while my opponent has a Library Larcenous. Okay, they got Solidarity, so I'm taking the 5 here. And let's play a Crypt Lurker. And I will discard a Gorehorn here because my Carrion Grub is basically a better Gorehorn. Pass the turn, and I've got Run Afoul mana up. Okay, they've got their Mistral Singer out. They don't want to do anything, and let's get this Mistral Singer out of here. Swamp here. Play another Llanowar Visionary. That way we can keep up Grasp of Darkness, draw a card, and pass the turn. Unfortunately, we're just going to have to stare at our opponent here while they potentially draw things to make my life hell. Makeshift Battalion is not that, though. That's That's fine. It will grow to be a decently sized creature here, but I'm not too worried about that. Okay, let's drop down this freebooter and see what we're working with here. Elder, double Ghostlight, and Library Larcenist. Okay. So I don't want to mill myself a ton with Carrion Grub. I got the card I want in my graveyard already, so I think I'm going to play this Crypt Lurker and just pass. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. Play Crypt Lurker, decline to do anything, and pass the turn. My opponent does have their land, so now they can throw down 2 Ghost Lights, and that's going to be a huge problem for me. As Ghost Light is so much tempo. Now they do have the option of attacking with everybody, they chose not to. Now I can play an island. I can rebuy the Crypt Lurker. Decline to do anything. And I'm also going to play the Carrion Grip here and not leave up Grasp of Darkness. Arcana Manticore and my Rise Again are gone, okay. My opponent like, yep. Playing the Ghostlight again. Snagging my Carrion Grub. It'll be real awkward if I mill my island, because then I won't be able to Waker of Waves. Okay, let's replay Grub. Okay, hit some quite strong cards, but nothing too bad. I'm gonna fire off this Grasp of Darkness now so that I don't get Feet of Resistanted. And pass. Next turn I'm gonna slap this Citizen Training on this Carrion Grub and smash face. Though there is... maybe that was bad. Maybe I should have put the Citizen Training on the Kitesail Freebooter so that I can block this Roman Ghostlight. But hey, I'd rather just draw a Snare Spinner or something. That's not Snare Spinner, but could be close. Let's Citizen Training up a Scrub. There's the Waker, okay. Let's drop Death Bloom Thallid. Go to combat and bash for 8. Basically tell my opponent, hey, okay, they're gonna take it, which is very good for me. Because getting them low is the way to go. Now my best draw in my deck is an island, though I do need to toss this Waker of Waves eventually, as I do need to find my Eliminate here and a proper flying blocker for these things that my opponent's doing. Block like this so that if they have Feet of Resistance, I still kill the Larcenist no matter what color they pick. I'm going down to 2 here. I cannot allow that to happen. So I'm going to hope that my next draw is an island. If it's not, then I have to use this Waker of Waves. It's not. I have to use this Waker of Waves. And well, I got a Freebooter. Well, let's not get tricky. Okay, so I need to block everything. So that blocks there, that gets through. 1, 2, 3, 4 attackers for my opponent. So I need to leave up probably 3 blockers. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That way, let's see, they can't take everything. All right, we gotta do some math here because it's entirely possible that we just need to attack with like everything. Though these visionaries will just get eaten. So if we attack, they might like block, take 11. That would be bad for me. I would die on the crackback. So no, I can't attack with these visionaries, but I can attack with everything else. Force my opponent to do some things. Unfortunately, they will get to draw 2 cards during their turn from the Pilferer. Ooh, double block. Yep. And yep. I guess I didn't see double block in my future. Now they're at 1. But okay, I still have enough blockers. That's good. So I'm putting my opponent on having stuff. Land, that's good for me. Frost Breath wins games. If there's anything you should take from this loss, it's that Frost Breath wins games. Crud. So yeah, I should have thought about the double blocking stuff. But I mean, if they have Frost Breath, like I block that, I still take the damage because I had Feet of Resistance. Like I would have had to keep a lot more stuff back. And yeah, so yeah, that's a shame. I blame Maximus. If you would like to go and comment on his videos, you can do so by going to his channel there, wherever it is. But don't be mean. Anyways, that's the end of the video. I'm back to the grind, but hey, maybe that means that next draft I'll go through a quick draft and risk my rating. Yeah, I'll look forward to that. Leave comments if you want to see any other kind of challenge drafts. And see you another time.